So today I want to capitalize on an opportunity on a job site that we're currently working on. We are currently in a lobby foyer. The floor here is a porcelain tile floor that has been waxed. Now on porcelain tile floors, you should not wax that floor. You can, and I can understand why somebody would want to, and that's one of the myths that I kind of want to dispel, but give you the pros, cons, and things you should know before moving ahead and moving forward with the process of actually having it waxed. And right now is a really good opportunity because we have kind of like a before, a during, and an after type of a deal going on. So we're mid-project, so it's a great time to show you what's going on. First and foremost, again, I'm a big believer in what are we working on and what are we removing, and identify what the area of concern is. So if we look at this entire floor, we look at the space, you can see that it's dark, mainly from here to here, and some of the areas over here. You see as you lead towards this way, towards this door, it begins to darken. That is what is referred to as your traffic lane and your traffic pattern. You can see that from the left out towards the wall, it's a lot less, but where people would sit, it is darker, and there's reasons for that. Same thing over here on this side. The other thing that I want to point to your attention is look at the amount of dirt. The amount of dirt and amount of soil that you see there, partly two reasons. One is because of the coating that they put on there, but we'll get into that one in a second. But the first one is because it's texture. This is a porcelain floor, and one of the phenomenal benefits to a porcelain floor is that you can use an acidic cleaner, an alkaline cleaner, a neutral cleaner. It's going to be resistant, almost impervious to scratches. It's 100% waterproof. It is a phenomenal product, and for that reason, there's no need to seal the tile. Now, the grout lines is another story, and when it comes to grout lines, that's another subject in and of itself, but you'd want to use an impregnating sealer of a variation of sort with the grout lines. But tile strictly, you would not want to seal this tile because it wouldn't accept it, number one. And number two is if you force a coating or a sealer on here and you put a wax on here, which is the case here, this is what's going on. So I'm going to show you a little bit more detail. So let's first identify it and show you how I'm able to see that. So again, we identified porcelain floor, traffic lane, and you see this area right over here. You see how it's shiny, dull, and what I want you to focus on is the fact right there, that's perfect, that area right there. That actually looks like a nail after you nail polish it. 2 weeks later it's peeling. That peeling right there, and right there, that's all indicative of this being waxed. Secondly, now that we identified, right here you can see it a lot better. So there you can see where there still is the visible wax, but the whole floor has been waxed. Now, this traffic lane, this traffic pattern, on a porcelain tile, you really wouldn't get this. You would get some of it because of the texture. So going back to what I was talking about with texture, is that if you are in a lobby area where there's constant flow of traffic going in and going out, liability and slip hazard is always first and foremost on someone's mind. And when installing or selecting a tile for this application, you'd want to make sure that it stands true to the coefficient of friction and make sure that you have the coefficient of friction that's needed in an environment like this. When you put a coating on there, you remove that coefficient of friction because then it is smooth. So you see right here where it's all smooth, but because it's so textured, that coating is able to go along with the contours of the floor. Well, now that the contours of the floor and everything is coated, one of the drawbacks and downsides to coatings is that it attracts soil. So now you have a porcelain floor that was waxed in a high traffic area, reduce the coefficient of friction, and have a coating that attracts more soil. As you can see with that explanation, if you knew that beforehand, maybe you would not have selected to seal the porcelain tile. So let's go into the area where Angel's working at. That's a good area because you can see the extra work that he's doing to remove it. You're gonna see a big difference in the color of the tile. So let's get over there. All right. And there is your before and after. So what he has here, what you're seeing, is he's rotary scrubbing. The pad that's underneath there, the type of bristle that's needed, is you need a bristle hard enough to really get into this and scratch it, but you need it to be soft enough to glide and follow the contours of the tile itself so that it gets into the crevices and into the nooks and crannies and the grout lines. Right here, you can see evidence of the wax that's being liquefied. You see all of that right there? All of that is wax being pushed up against the side. And right here, he's just going over and over again the areas. Now, when we see grout lines, when we do cleaning, we begin to uncover things that you otherwise would not have seen. We begin to uncover all the hidden gems that the wax was hiding. You can see in some areas, same area, this cleaned up much better than this area. But again, this is only our first pass. Right over here along the perimeter, you can see that we still have wax all along the edge. That's the stuff that after you apply it, looks beautiful, but after people start using it, not so much. So right here you can see the process. The process is always a matter of how many passes, and the more wax and the longer it's been on there, the harder it is for us to get it back to pre-wax condition. You look here from this area, you can see all the wax that still remains along that side and over there. But after a few more passes in this area that you just seen, and in areas that's already beginning to dry, you can see that we're getting a very positive result on the grout line as well. So that's pretty much it. That's the basics. So essentially all it is that we're doing is we're rotary scrubbing using liquefying agents to go ahead and remove the wax that's on the floor. So we're using strippers. When you're using strippers, it does smell. So it isn't a service that we're going to perform when anyone is in the lobby area or whatnot. We want to restrict movement as much as possible. And then after the stripping is being done, he's going over this maybe another 2-3 more times. The next step to that is vacuuming. The next step to that is then repeating this exact same process again with now a cleaner. So it's first with the stripping agent. The stripping agent, you want to do it 2 or 3 times till you get all the wax off, or until you see that no more wax is coming off. Past that point, you're vacuuming everything up, then you're coming back and doing a thorough rinse, a cleaning over, a washing over. On my way out, I'll go ahead and I'll show you the machine that we use and how that machine ejects water, vacuums it up, sucks everything up, so that we can go ahead and lift and rinse towards the cleaning step. Okay? All right. All right, so currently the truck is not connected at the end right now. He went to go get some more solution. We end up needing more strips. So basically, so you could understand how it works, right? You have a vacuum port that pulls in the water from here. That port is connected down here. You can see that it gets siphoned through these little port valves here. This piece right here rinses and extracts water or expels water out. Very similar to a power washer, where you would have a different nozzle, different tip that expands or pressures or how much. Same thing with us. In addition to our truck, that's not here right now, but in addition to our truck that control the PSI and how much it is that we want to go ahead and use. So water gets vacuumed and siphoned up through here, out that hose, and you could see the solution line, the solution hose here. That then is carried and taken towards the truck that is getting more supplies right now. But the truck then is what's providing water that gets ejected from these tips and vacuuming all at the same time. And that's pretty much it. It really all begins with what are we working on, what are we removing, what happened to it, so on and so forth, and then go through the proper steps and processes that we need to be able to go ahead and provide the service. It's all a matter of understanding the steps in cleaning. It's not just cleaning. To clean, you first must remove. After removal, then you do the rinsing and the cleaning. After that, you do the neutralization. And I'll actually capitalize on this opportunity. The reason why you see all of that that traffic lane, that traffic soil lane that's still on the wax in the lobby area part of this building, is because the cleaner that they were probably using also to clean very well is alkaline in nature. So soap, loosely speaking, without getting into all the pHs and all that, think of soap as alkaline. Well, what do people use to clean with? Well, soap, because it cleans, right? Well, the problem with that is without neutralizing it, you now attract soil, because opposites attract, and that's another video on how acids and alkalines and how they want to neutralize, and everything in you know, of us that we expel is acidic and proteins, and it gets crazy. But it's all a matter of just understanding all those fundamentals and then applying it to a real life scenario. So there is a big reason for rinsing and neutralizing. It will last. It will provide you longevity in your cleaning. It'll make cleaning easier later on. And sometimes sealing your tile is not the best answer. It depends. It really all depends. Where, what purpose. It all depends. All right, so hopefully this video was helpful. Again, with each and every site that we could possibly give with informational stuff, would love to go ahead and continue giving you guys more info to work on. All right, thank you so very much for tuning in. Please subscribe if this information was helpful. If you know somebody that could benefit from understanding this, or from just understanding that, hey, there's people out here that really understand maintenance and all different materials and what shouldn't be used, your pros and cons, when to spend X amount on the sealer, what type of sealer, should you spend it, you know, we're here. All right, thanks so very much. Have a phenomenal one. Catch you on the next one.